Lilac Kitty has all types of Reddit stories that will make you think, cry and laugh. Only real stories.
My husband cheated, I forgave him. I believe I was as much to blame as he was, but have gotten a lot of criticism over my decision. My husband chose to have an affair in 2019 with a co-worker a lot younger than him. She was married as well. I didn't find out until over a year later about the affair. When I found out, of course, I was heartbroken and confused and angry, but then as we started to talk about the affair and everything in our marriage that had led up to this, I realized I was as much to blame as he was. That's when the criticism from others come in, telling me that there's no excuse for cheating no matter what and no excuse for his betrayal, and that I am clearly a victim of his narcissistic behavior. I said in response, "Stop. What the heck are you talking about, people? I'm 4'7" not 5, and I'm a very educated woman, not a bumbling idiot. My hushed is not some Ted Bundy. He didn't kill anyone to be getting all the hate everyone is giving him. I believe a solid marriage requires two people who love each other to give 100% to the marriage and to each other, and when you don't, when marriage become brokered, fractured, and destroyed. I didn't realize how badly my husband was crying put for attention and affection and love, because my life was so focused on my kids, my family, my friends, that I completely failed to see him. He felt ugly and unwanted and undesired, and he told me that was why he fell into the affair, to feel seen and cared about, to feel wanted and loved and desired. I'm not too arrogant to see my own wrongdoing in my marriage to solely point fingers at him, and without looking in my own mirror and changing things about myself. However, there were things he did as well that made me pull away and distance myself to. When he worked all the time and never spent time with his family, totally married to his job, the sex felt like a job. He made me feel like I was not attractive at times because I would slack on taking care of me because of all my daily demands. And I felt like intimacy was always his way and never mine. I also felt like a piece of furniture at times that you walk by and never really notice. There are two sides to a marriage, and I know that even though he shouldn't have cheated, but neither should I have deprived him of a wife, partner, best friend and companion. So it's easy for people to hate on others' choices, but I don't believe a person would cheat if his or her marriage was good. No spouse seeks to ruin their other half life and hurt and destroy them. They do it because they're human, and their marriage seems as if it's over anyway, and they have given up. I say change that we don't give up. We fix what's broken, we mend what's torn, we heal what's damaged and fractured. We pick up ourselves, and we fight for our love by looking in our own mirrors and work on ourselves first, and not point fingers at each other, but decide, is this worth fighting for? If it is, then do what you have never done before and make it about the other person, and they make it about you. Finding out what truly makes each other click and happy. I don't hate or judge anyone here in the adultery sub, as I've been on both sides. I just judge myself and my life and what's best for me. I've learned a lot about this people, marriages, and myself and husband here. Things I don't think I would have known wrong with myself if I had not been active reader of this sub. My husband snuck a woman into our basement during a pandemic, while my kids and I were asleep upstairs. I haven't posted my story here yet, but I guess it's time. Apologies for the long rant. I need to put this somewhere, I guess. Almost 6 months ago, I woke up sometime between 11 and midnight to my 15-month-old crying. I checked the monitor thinking her dad would be in with her, as he was still up and had been taking night duty the past few days to try and wean her. He was not in the man cave, nor either of the bathrooms, which was weird. I went to the main floor to look for him, but didn't see home. Went back upstairs to check, but didn't find him. At this point I started to get a little worried that something had happened to him, and then when I went back downstairs, I noticed the door to the unfinished basement was shut, which was unusual. I started to open the door when my husband came out. I asked him what he had been doing, and he replied, looking at my baseball cards. He went upstairs to our daughter, and I went down to the basement because something felt off. At first I didn't notice anything, including baseball cards, but then I heard a weird noise and there was a half-dressed female trying to hide in the corner by the water heater. I asked her who she was. She told me Ashley, and I turned around. Abs headed back upstairs where I took my daughter from my husband and told him he needed to leave. He asked where he should go and I told him I didn't care. I went back downstairs to the basement and the girl, Ashley, was climbing out one of the windows. I said, "You can use the front door, because I'm polite like that. We are getting divorced and I am doing all the things I am supposed to do, therapy for myself and my 5-year-old, self-care, leaning on my support system. I need to, being careful of what I say around the kids so they don't become more damaged by this. He is living in his parents' basement, says he wants 50-50 custody, but has had the kids one night a week for the last 4 months. Drags his feet on the divorce, but I found out he is dating. Ugh. I want to move on, to be happy, but it is so hard, and the one person I trusted and let in more than anyone else so utterly rejected me. I feel thoroughly unworthy and unlovable right now." End of a 38-year-long marriage. My husband Jeff and I used the same computer. One morning I got up, turned it on, minimized a bunch of his windows, and discovered a message to a friend with a photo of a girl. Jeff had written to his friend this was his sexy Argentina girlfriend, and he was going to be on the first possible plane down to see her. I was knocked flat, like a hammer, to my chest. I didn't know what was going on. I truly believed Jeff would have been the last possible man to do this. So I snooped and discovered that they had been sexting for a long time. It wasn't until weeks later that I figured out it was 2 years. The sex stuff was disturbing, but what broke my heart were all the "I love you, I dream about you at night, and I'll be down to Argentina as soon as the borders are open." For quite a while I was in shock, not knowing what to say or do, just not able to grasp what was happening. One night I was reading in real time what Jeff was writing to her downstairs. "I want to taste your garden." I snapped, got out of bed, and confronted Jeff while he was sexting her, telling him that if he was in love with another woman, he had to leave immediately. He looked panicked, claimed it was meaningless, a video game, that COVID has taken away everything I loved. First, huh? Later I discovered the sexting had been going on for 2 years, so much for COVID made me do it, that he had no intention of leaving me, and that he was never going to Argentina. A few days later he confessed that he was planning to go when their borders opened. Had I never seen that message to his friend, never known about the affair, I would have booked his ticket, helped him pack, kissed him goodbye, and said, "Have fun, honey." It was some girl who had shown up at one of his friend Richie Ramon's concerts. Jeff has traveled with him a lot, helping out with the tour. She had taken a photo of her and Jeff, which is her Facebook profile pic. They exchanged contact info, and then started chatting and then sexting and then decided they were in love. Although the night I caught him he claimed he loved me, that when he wrote "I love you" to her, it was just typing. He said the reason he had this affair was because I am a cold fish, true, unaffectionate, true, didn't initiated sex, unless drunk, but I have never once said, "Not tonight, honey," to him, and did not love him in the way he wanted to be loved, which maybe I should have been aware of, except I thought he was as certain of my love for him as I was of his. After I confronted him, I cried, we wrangled. I wanted so much to be convinced that it was just some weird porn, that other couples had gone through this and come out okay, and we could too. This went on for 2 days. I really thought Jeff would say, "I'm so sorry I hurt you, I've broken it off, you are the most important person in the world to me." I waited to hear those words. They never came. Why didn't I ask him to break it off in front of me when he was still claiming it was meaningless, a video game? There was another confrontation, more tears, when I saw that she was still sexting Jeff, saying, "I love you, where are you?" That night I asked him to stop and he said he wasn't going to, not until he knew our marriage would work. He claimed I was making demands on him. I said our marriage can't possibly be fixed while you're still involved with this woman. If you don't stop, you have to leave. Again, I was so desperate I relented. It was so crazy that he thought this was okay, I couldn't think straight. Still can't. More wrangling, more texts from her, more heartbreak. The next night I finally lose it and type, "Go away," to her when she comes on Instagram. I didn't even know Jeff had an Instagram account until I started snooping, 'cause until I saw the message to his friend I was never a snooper or a jealous person. Jeff was furious that I had typed to her and claimed he had broken it off with her hours before but hadn't told me. I said, "I can see all your Instagram posts. There was nothing about it's over." Jeff said, "I sent her an email, can I see it?" "No, I deleted it." I no longer believe this. More wrangling, more of me weeping and begging. Jeff says he doesn't know what to do, not sure our marriage will work, not sure if I can be the warm affectionate person he wants, says we need to take a step back. I can't take a step back 'cause my brain won't stop going over and over the things I read and saw and trying to think and hope about what we can do and say to fix this thing, and all I wanted was to work this out so we could stay married. He kept saying he needed to be alone to think, and in my own insanity I thought I had to give him what he said he needed, although my gut was telling me to insist on staying here with him and finding a resolution together, which yes, did include the possibility that we might break up, but at least I would have felt that we had both really tried. I didn't want to move in with any of my pals, didn't want to let them know what had happened, and I didn't want to go stay alone in a hotel. I ended up flying back to the States. $1,000 later I was on a plane to Chicago, which was on total lockdown, couldn't even get a cup of coffee, and then on a train to Indiana, a state with no mask mandate, to stay with a friend there for 5 days. Insanely risky for me, but I was desperate. Jeff said he would use the week I was gone to sort out his own mind. I get back home after a horrendous, exhausting trip. A passenger in my row kept taking off his mask. My flight was almost diverted to another airport because of poor visibility after 2 aborted landing attempts and a 6-hour van ride, traveling from 4 a.m. to 9 at night. I am barely keeping it together by the time it was over and found Jeff on the porch drinking and smoking. He did make me some chicken. I've had zero appetite since this started, and I cry, "What did you decide?" "I want to be with you." And the whoosh of relief and happiness I felt must be what a shot of heroin is like. I went to bed relieved and relaxed for the first time in weeks, and woke up to an agitated Jeff who is not sure he's made the right decision. More wrangling, more sobbing, more begging, and we are both committed to the process of rebuilding our marriage. I was actually looking forward to this. After 40 years, I thought it would be exciting to try something new, to talk more, for me to show Jeff how much I love him in a way he would appreciate, although I do think I would have fallen down on the ego boosting the groupie is so good at. I never got the chance at the marriage rebuild, never got the chance to show Jeff I could change and change sincerely. Because the day after I got back he told me of this drama his family in Florida is going through, and I say you have to go there. I book his ticket on my own Amex card, insist he take the phone and the computer, and my new expensive backpack, pack him a lunch for the van ride, and he kisses me goodbye and says see you in a few weeks. I'm not happy. I was looking forward to creating a new stage in our marriage, something different, but I'm hopeful that we can work it out when he gets back. So I'm okay, blood pressure not great but not trying to kill me. I thought I was the picture of health, but I was diagnosed high blood pressure last January, thanks Mom. 2 days later Jeff calls to tell me he doesn't know if he wants to be married to me. I ask if he's sexting her again and he says yes. He says he has always put me first, a claim that has me and my grown kids and everyone who knows us baffled. Everyone thought he was so lucky the way I spoiled him, and that he is choosing himself now, putting himself first. I said, have I ever asked you for anything before? He said no, you haven't. I asked him again to please stop sexting her, that was the only way our marriage had a chance. He refused. I hang up, write him some pitiful, pleading texts, have an ugly crying fit, and take my blood pressure. It is over 200. Twice more that week it hit 200. I really humiliated myself, begging, that's attractive, trying to reconcile the man I married with this person who doesn't see any issue with us talking about how to fix our marriage while he is sexting the groupie every day. It took a week for me to say to myself, if Jeff says he doesn't know if he wants to be married to me, that means he doesn't want to be married to me. You don't tell a person you love, I don't know if I love you. I couldn't do this anymore. How can I care about a person who hurt me so badly? I had to accept my almost 40-year marriage is finished and try to find a way to be okay with that, cause otherwise the stress will literally kill me. So I'm starting over, or trying to, at 67, left wondering what the fuck happened. Any clarity would be greatly appreciated.